Oh, Lonnie Painter.
Okay, so when we talk to Olivia, remember, we cannot be all talking at the same time. And he's gonna share information, but there's gonna be a time when you can ask questions. You may not all ask questions at the same time. Okay?
Okay, so I sent the invite. Okay, so hopefully, when he comes up here, a couple things to okay, so he works for, okay, listen to me just a second. He works for the National Weather Service in North Webster, Indiana. The National Weather Service is part of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. Yeah, big title. So all the oceans, the atmosphere, everything for our national government, this is a branch of the big branch. Okay, so he's a federal employee. All right, look at that. Can you hear us okay?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, oh, where's your, oh, we gotta get you. All right, try it again.
Can you hear me now?
All right, yeah, we're good. And you can hear us okay, you said, right?
Yep, sure can. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay, so just introduction. This is Miss King, okay, down here. She teaches the high ability here at Concord Oxbow Elementary. Okay, these are her minions here. Yep. Okay, and she has taken it upon herself, willingly, not willingly, I don't know, to do the weather balloon this year. And these kids are quite excited about it. So, like we kind of did last time, first, okay, tell us what your job is, how you got to that job, you know, what college, whatever you needed to get here before we even start talking about like the weather balloon.
Yep. Well, my name is Lonnie, and I'm one of the forecasters here at the National Weather Service. And my job is not only to help forecast the weather and keep everybody safe, but also to issue warnings. You guys heard of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings? Yeah. Well, we're the ones that issue them for this area. So that's some of the things that we have to do and keep an eye on everybody that's around us. I went to school, to college up in Michigan, was one of the many colleges that there are. And I had to go for over 4 years just for college. And there's a lot of students that go even longer than that. They go 6 years and 8 years. So if you like weather, then you got to like math and you got to like science. So do you guys like those?
Yeah.
Yep, you got to have lots of those. So I hear you guys are going to be sending a balloon up, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, so with that said, okay, describe first, because they do have a bunch of questions. Okay, so why would the National Weather Service, you know, why would they send one up? Like, what is the purpose of one? And then I see you've got some parts there. Tell us you know, why you would do it, and then, okay, how do you go about doing it?
Yep. Well, around the entire world, not just with us in the National Weather Service, but other meteorologists around the world send up weather balloons at least twice a day. And we use the information that comes back from the balloons to help us make our forecasts. It can tell us how much water is up in the air, how strong the winds are, what direction they're from, and tells us all kinds of valuable information that helps us make sure we hopefully have a good forecast for you and can figure out what might happen. And it doesn't matter whether we don't send up any balloons here at our office. You have to go over into other states that are around us. Some of those offices send them up. And can you guys see here on the table, this brown?
Yeah.
That's one of the weather balloons before it's blown up. And so you can kind of get an idea how big it is. I'm going to pick it up and put it up to me. Okay. Pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we put hydrogen into this. And they have to put a certain amount of hydrogen in it. So that way it rises at a certain speed. And by rising at that speed, then we can help get the data that we need to help make the forecast. And on the bottom of this balloon is one of these. Okay? So you see all these wires sticking out? That's the equipment. That's what measures how warm it is and how much water there is. And then there's a little battery inside here that powers it. And so this goes up and up and up, way up into the atmosphere. And just before it gets up to anywhere from 80 to 100,000 feet, way up, then this balloon will break and this falls back to the ground. And I don't have one attached to it, but there's a parachute that hooks to it. So that way it can just slowly come down. And hopefully we find some of these. So ones that I've got here, these are some of them that have been found that have been returned to us. So we keep them to show students and adults what they look like.
Okay, okay, you said you're gonna use hydrogen. We know we're gonna use helium. Why do you guys use hydrogen?
We used to use helium for quite a while. The hydrogen is being done for a couple reasons. One, it's cheaper. And two, there's actually ways, there's machines that can generate the hydrogen. So in some of the areas where it's harder to get supplies to, especially up in Alaska, they can install the hydrogen generators that help make it rather than shipping all kinds of tanks up and spending all kinds of money doing that. So they went to using hydrogen several years ago. We have to be a little more careful with the hydrogen since it can explode, but it's worked really good.
And other than predicting the weather, do you guys use them for anything else?
That's the biggest thing, is for predicting the weather. The information goes into the computer models and just helps us figure things out. It may help us sometimes with issuing warnings. If sometimes there's people that will go out into the field when they're out chasing the thunderstorms, they may have smaller balloons that they may send up right near a thunderstorm and might help tell them a little bit of information just before the thunderstorm comes in. But we don't get to do that here. That's just if they're out there in their vehicles.
Perfect. Okay, I introduced Mrs. King. She's now going to take over and run the room.
Okay, hello.
Hello. So we have been learning a little bit about weather balloons and also the layers of the atmosphere. And so my friends have questions. What questions do you want to ask? Akash has a question.
How many
Loudly.
how many NOAA offices are there on Earth?
There are a total of 122 weather forecast offices. So they're all over the United States. They're out into Hawaii, Alaska, Guam, Puerto Rico. And then there's other weather offices in other countries. They're not part of us, but we all work together.
Good question.
Does that white thing come down by itself, or does it come down with the balloon?
Does this come down with the balloon?
Yes.
Yep. The balloon will break, and yep, it's usually all together as it falls down. And a lot of times this may just end up out in the water or into someone's field. So we don't get to see a whole lot of these bets. Yep, they all stay together.
So, do you send anything else up with the balloon and the tracker thing, whatever it is?
No, we don't get to do the fun things like you guys are going to do, putting the camera on it and doing all that. I wish we could do that stuff. It's kind of cool, but we don't get to do anything like that.
Yeah, so we are coming up with our 10 or so experiments to send up. So some ideas we've had are what? What ideas have we had? And you can tell us if that's a, well, no. Let's see, what's our ideas? We had
Water,
water,
sugar,
Yeah.
sugar,
soda,
like pop, soda, yeah,
paper,
paper,
peas,
peas, gummy bears maybe, Kit Kat perhaps, or battery,
corn kernels.
corn kernels, yeah.
All kinds of things. That'd be pretty cool.
We shall see, okay.
Have you ever set off a weather balloon before?
I have. I've set off lots of them over in Illinois. I worked in an office there that sent up the weather balloons, and also in Michigan, I worked in an office that sent up balloons. So it's been over 10 years since I've sent one up, but yep, they're cool to send up.
So, do you work at like most of the offices or like just one?
I just work at one office, just the one here that's not too far away from you guys, maybe about not even an hour away from you guys. But we do work with other offices that are around us, and we're talking to them constantly, making the forecast and helping keep everybody safe. That's a good question.
So we are also maybe going to contact some news reporters, TV stations, and so is that how they get their information on the weather, from you? Do they get it straight from
Yep,
you?
a lot of the information comes from us. They do have their own services that they pay for to help them make their forecasts and the graphics and everything you see on TV. But they do work closely with us, and a lot of the information, a lot of the radar data comes from us. So yeah, we work very closely together. And I think, yeah, there was one of the TV meteorologists was there last year. I can't remember which one, but I didn't get a chance to make it up.
Yeah. All right, what other questions?
Why did you decide to do like in college? Why did you decide to do the weather?
That's a good question. Back when I was about you guys' age, actually in 3rd grade, I used to give weather reports in front of my classroom. My teacher was really good about it, so I would actually get up every day and I would say what the forecast was going to be. So that way they can help figure out if we're going to go outside for recess or what we got to do. If there was going to be bad storms coming in, we might have to be ready. So that's what kind of got me going.
Cool. All right, what else? Now you're shy. Yeah, sure. So if they send up weather balloons all the time, that's a lot of balloons bursting, right?
Yeah.
Do any of those pieces ever fall to the ground, or do they all do, or?
They all do. When they burst, there's usually pieces of the balloon that are still attached, and sometimes they burst just a little bit, where we've actually had some instances where they land in someone's field and the wind kind of gets into them and makes them look really scary, and people kind of start freaking out, and they call the police.
Yeah. Okay. Julie.
So are there any specific places that we have to contact, like other than you guys and the weather stations?
Good question.
Yeah, good question. Is there an airport near you?
Yeah. Two.
Yep. So you'll have to get a hold of the airport there, because when you send that balloon up, there might be planes that are flying around that if they meet up with that balloon, it wouldn't be real good. So, yep, you got to get a hold of the airport. At least the one in Elkhart, maybe the one in Goshen, maybe even South Bend. There's planes that are constantly moving around, just to make sure, since we don't know how high it's going to go, you want to make sure everybody knows it's going up in the air.
All right, airport. Yeah. Evelyn?
When the weather balloon drops, what is the farthest length of miles it was from the office?
I couldn't hear that one real good.
Okay, louder.
I asked.
when the weather balloon drops, what is the farthest thing that went away from the office?
Oh, where's the farthest one? Yep, good question. It just depends on how strong the winds are. Sometimes they found what's left of the balloons. Oh, let's say if they send it up in Illinois, they might find it in Michigan or in Ohio. So they can travel quite a ways.
Oh boy.
Miss King, she better hope there's a hotel close if it's that far away.
I'm going to get it, but.
Well, I think the one last year went into, what was it, like southeastern Michigan, I believe?
Yeah. So like Albion, I think, Michigan.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I think we talked like about 100 miles, something like that, I think.
Yep, they did pretty good.
Yeah. And so ours got to, I think I shared, like about 126,000 feet. How high normally do you want yours to get?
We like them to get up at least to 80 to 100,000 feet, somewhere in that area. That's where we get the best representation. If we can get them up at least to about 50,000, we can work with it. That'll be enough to make our forecast. But we like to get them as high as we can. They're usually up in the air for about an hour and 15 minutes, which I think that's about how long you guys' was, if I recall.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long was theirs was up there, but about that time, I think. Yeah. Landry.
What happens when you put
What do you think?
what happens? Let's say,
What are you thinking about?
if you put, what happens if you put more heat?
How do you know how much to fill the balloon?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know how much helium are we supposed to put in our balloon? Do we want a lot, a little bit?
Yep, they put a lot in. It's been so long since I've done it. I don't remember the exact amount anymore, but they know that a certain amount of it in the balloon will make it float at a certain speed, and it's all predetermined. So we actually, when we filled the balloon up, we actually had a little weight on the bottom that once the balloon matched up that weight, it would actually pick the weight up and it would stop putting the hydrogen or the helium into it. Then we knew it had enough in it. And we just went ahead and tied it. We just put some string down on the bottom and tie it off, and then we'd be good to go.
We're going to have to figure all that out, but too much to start with. Justin.
How do you calculate weather?
Which part of the
How do you calculate if there's gonna be rain?
Oh,
No rain.
predict, yeah.
Yeah, so how do we predict if we're going to have rain or snow or things like that? Yeah. The information that we get from the weather balloons and also lots of computers tries to tell us what might happen. And then we just have to use our brains and we have to use our experience and see if it makes sense and hopefully try and figure out what might happen. We're guessing a lot of it on what exactly is going to happen, but a lot of it we can figure out from what might have happened in the past that helps kind of guide us in the right way. Just like you guys know when you're working on math assignments or things like that, you might not be real sure of something, but if you look at it and it kind of looks familiar to something else that you did, then you might go ahead and try and use that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
What's that big knot thing on the balloon? On the bottom of it?
This part?
Yeah.
Yep. That's just a plastic ring that you see it's a lot thicker here. The color's kind of different. That's just where the balloon comes together. And this is the part that's made to be stronger to help it survive. So they hook this part up, just like when you guys get a regular balloon. You got the little tail that you guys put your mouth to and blow into it. That comes up there. And then this is the part that stretches here. This doesn't stretch down here. That's this area. That keeps that from stretching.
Good question.
Where do you get the balloons from?
I'm not sure who makes some balloons. This was one that was given to us by one of the other ops, so we could use it to show you. But yep, they're all pre-boxed up, and someone makes them for us, so we just get to use them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Do you like buy your helium or do you get it donated?
I wish I got it donated. Nope, they have to buy the helium and the hydrogen. It comes in big tanks that stand up on their own, and they fill up the balloon. They can usually, the last time I did it, they could usually get like 2 balloons out of one big tank. And then they had to switch them out. So they have lots of tanks that are always there ready for us.
Good question.
Do you reuse the white things? Like once they come down, do you like clean them and send them back up?
Very good question. Yeah, there's actually, if they come to the ground and they survive, this one doesn't have it, but there's actually a little envelope in it that if someone finds it, they can push all the wires in and stick it in the envelope and close it up, and you put it in the mailbox and send it back. And then they'll do just that. They'll look at it. If it's okay, then they'll clean it up, and they'll maybe put some new things in it, and they'll send it back out again, and we'll use it again.
That's cool. Like, about how many of everyone you send up do you get back?
Probably out of maybe 2 or 3, honestly. There's not many that come back. Usually when they hit the ground, they're in pieces, or they land in the water, or, yeah, I don't get to see too many of them back.
Okay. But,
Does it have like a GPS on it so that you know where it is?
Yep, there's actually one of the things, this right here helps track it. Just like you guys, I think, will have like a GPS on yours. We've got a giant antenna dish that will track this. And it will be able to tell exactly where the balloon is and how fast it's rising and what way it's going.
good question.
Where do you usually set off the balloons?
Where do I do what with the balloons?
Where do you set it off?
Oh, where do we start off?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what officer is. The nearest one to us, we start off over in Illinois, and they have to roll the balloon out. It takes about a half hour to get everything done, from getting the balloon out, hooking up the equipment, blowing it up. And then when we're ready, we go out a big garage door, and you walk out, and you got to let the balloon go.
Wow. So you get it all set up inside?
Yeah, we're all inside shelter, and we have to set it up no matter if it's 90 degrees outside or if it's 40 below. It doesn't matter, they still do it. I've had to send it up in the middle of a snowstorm. I've had to send it up with a thunderstorm 10 miles away. Just depends.
Where at in Illinois?
Over by Lincoln, the northeast of Springfield.
So in the middle of the state.
Where's like just a place where you could buy like helium? Or
There's companies that make the helium, and you can also go into some of the stores and they sell smaller tanks. So that way you can blow up the balloons for like when you have parties and things. They have smaller tanks like that. I don't know how much you guys will need if you can get away with just a smaller tank, or you might have to buy one of the bigger ones. I'm not sure.
Oh, but we don't know.
how much does a helium or a hydrogen tank usually cost?
That I don't know. I know that the hydrogen is cheaper than the helium, but the helium is a lot easier for everybody to get.
It's safer, I think. That's why we're also using helium.
When you set off the balloons, do you always go and get the balloons from the GPS?
Yep. Well, you guys will try and get when the balloon comes down, I know you guys will follow it and try and pick everything back up. With us, we don't worry about that. We just go ahead and send it up, and if someone can find it, that's great. but the stuff that's on it really isn't that important if we get it back. So, but with you guys, we know you're going to want to get your experiments. They want to get the camera back and all the equipment that's on it. So I know you guys will be doing that.
Why don't you like care if you get it back? Doesn't it have like what you like the data on it?
Nope. It sends the information to us. You know how you guys listen to the radio? It sends us a signal just like on the radio. And the equipment that reads it and keeps it for us is actually at the office. So it records all of it on the computer. So we have all the data there. So let me see if I can show you the inside of what one of these looks like. This is an older one.
So we have to get ours back because that's the only way we can get our video stuff back. But it's that one sends it all to a computer, like automatically.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is a really old one. Okay, but this is kind of some of the stuff that's in it. There's not anywhere near as much stuff now. It's a lot smaller, but that's all inside. So all there is a styrofoam, and then just a little bit of the equipment. So that's why we don't, even though we'd like to get them back, we don't try to track them down because otherwise we spend all kinds of time trying to find them. So we want to be able to use the data and not worry about trying to find them. So that's what they kind of look like inside.
Have you recently set off a weather balloon?
What was that? I'm kind of getting some background noise.
Have you recently set off a weather balloon?
I have not sent up a weather balloon since 2002, so it's been a long time.
But they,
I wish we sent them up here. It'd be nice.
well, you said hundreds a day across the country. They're sending hundreds of these a day, correct?
Correct. Yep. Every office that has a weather balloon site, they send them up at least twice a day. So for right now, with Eastern Daylight Time, they will send one up about 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And everybody around the world sends it up at about the same time. So that way we're all on the same clock. We all follow a certain type of clock that we all keep the exact same time. So yep, they're sent up at least twice a day. And then if the weather's really bad, sometimes we can get to send up more than the 2 a day. They may let us send up a third or a fourth one. So that way we can get extra information.
What would happen if we decided to cut ours off when it was raining or snowing or something?
The balloon still should go up. About the biggest things that you might see if it is raining or snowing and you got a lot of low clouds is, I assume, are you guys gonna probably have like a GoPro or some sort of camera on it again to look? So once you get up into the clouds, if it's raining or snowing, you might not be able to see much from that camera. That'd probably be the biggest thing. But the balloons are made, you get the balloons that I think you guys got last year, they're made to take the rain and the snow, and they should be okay.
Okay. What else?
When you set off the weather balloon, how high, about how long will it go until the balloon pops?
It usually goes for between an hour and an hour and a half. And just before the balloon breaks, we've been told, and somebody actually caught it on a video camera through a telescope, that the balloon that I have here grows to as big as a house.
What?
Before it breaks. So, and there's actually, with your parents' permission, or maybe your teacher can look it up, there's actually, I believe, a short YouTube video out there that actually shows that you could just say weather balloon bursting or something like that. Yeah, and I think it's not a real long one, but
We saw one explode, right? We watched one explode where the GoPro was facing up so that you could see it, which that was crazy.
yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you weren't here.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What is the farthest state that like what are the balloons you set off when it explodes? What is the farthest state that it landed? Like, information.
The furthest one that I know of, when I was studying up in Illinois, there was one that went over into, I think it was Western Pennsylvania.
Oh,
We had some really, really, really strong wind that day. So it was able to travel a long ways before it burst.
That far.
Yeah, if yours goes that far, we got a problem. But it got up really high. So and it just happened to be the perfect day to do it. That usually doesn't go that far. Usually it's more like what you guys will see up into Michigan or maybe over into Ohio, or just depends on what the wind direction is.
So that means it was able to like go very far before it got so high that it burst, right? So it could.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Usually a lot of times for the first, I don't know, up to about 35,000 feet, it'll rise faster and faster, but then the higher up it gets, it'll get a point where it'll go really fast. And then it'll start to kind of calm down at speed. And actually, I think we've seen when it got up really high, it just kind of sits in the same spot, just kind of bounces around and doesn't go real far.
All right, we have a couple more questions here. Yes.
for one of the weather balloons that you set up, what's like the highest that it's like gone for one of the weather balloons that you set off?
The highest I know of was about 120,000 feet, which would be about, maybe about 9 to 10 miles up, roughly. So that's a long ways up.
Very high. Yes.
Why haven't we set up a weather balloon since 2002?
Fair question.
Why don't we set up a weather balloon? Oh, because the office that I'm at here, we unfortunately don't have them. So, and this is the office I'm working at probably for the rest of my career. So, unless they put one in here, I won't get to send it anymore unless I want to drive to one of the other offices that does it, and they let me do it. But it's been so long, and they've changed things. I don't know if I'd be able to anymore.
And so, but you have access to all the data for all the balloons that are going up around us.
Correct. Yep. Yep. Everything comes into our computer. We start to get the first information about, probably about 45 minutes into the flight. They'll start sending it out, and then we get the rest of the information comes in about an hour and a half later total. So about an hour and a half after the balloon's been launched, that's when we get the last of the data. It usually comes in.
Real quick, why does it break when it's that high? What causes it to burst?
A lot of it is just, it may just be a defect in the balloon eventually. It could, I mean, as you're getting up higher and higher and that balloon just continues to expand, there's going to be weak spots that are going to be in the balloon that eventually it'll just give, I mean, if you figure, how small it is and, if it's growing to the size of a house, it's only going to take so much.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Too much pressure. Okay. One more question? Okay.
Is it? So when the balloon gets as big as a house, as big as a small house or a large house?
Yeah, good question. It gets as big as a house has probably got a couple bedrooms in it and maybe a garage on it. So it's a pretty good size house. Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to take too much of your time. Do you have
I'll
time?
do one more question. Yep, back there.
One more. Don, do you have a question? Oh, Julie.
Does the temperature ever mess up the balloon or do something to the balloon to make it pop earlier?
Sometimes it can. What might happen sometimes is actually maybe not the balloon itself, but the instrument on it. Sometimes it'll run into a lot of ice, a lot of really cold air, and some of the moisture might get stuck on these antennas and the sensors, and it'll mess up the information that's coming to us. And so when that happens, then we have to do certain things here to get rid of that bad data. But the only other thing that would affect the balloons is if they get into like a thunderstorm, then the winds that go up and down in all directions in the thunderstorm, they can beat up the balloon and make it burst a lot earlier than it should.
We're gonna make sure we have a nice day for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll cross it, and I'm sure we'll be talking as we get closer and help you guys out to figure out if it'll be a good day or not to send it up.
Yeah, so we need them to predict the weather so that we can send up our balloon to predict the weather. No,
And I think that I took May 19th is when we're looking to send it up. And we'll probably, by the time they get here, it'll probably be launched about 10, I'm guessing. You know,
Okay.
Launched about 10.
Yeah, and I've got it on my calendar. So I'm actually working that day here. So I'm hoping maybe I can either get somebody to cover my shift or figure something out to maybe come up and be able to be there this year. We'll see how things work out.
Fantastic. All right. See, I told you.
Well, thank you guys for all the good questions. I enjoyed talking to you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Quick Costco cheers.
Yay! Oh!
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
I'll send you an email. Thank you.
Bye.